Adam Maker, and welcome back. Today's video is on a film that I personally love, but for whatever reason did not do that well. I'm talking about Overlord, a film that was apparently going to be part of the Cloverfield universe. Don't worry, I will eventually get to that. But thankfully, that is not the case. Overlord was released in 2018, and from what I can tell, I was one of the only people that went to see it because despite getting pretty good reviews, the film sadly underperformed, making only $41.7 million on a budget of $38 million. I wish I could make $41.7 million and it would be seen as a disappointment. Nevertheless, the film was indeed produced by J.J. Abrams, who in 2018 hadn't quite ruined his reputation amongst film fans yet. This film came out around a year before The Rise of Skywalker, so he was still seen in a mostly positive light. I don't know if his name being on this helped or hindered the film. I know since the release, a lot of people have soured on The Force Awakens, which may have caused some people to shy away from this, but at the same time, would the film have even made what it did if his name wasn't attached to it? Overlord was written by Billy Ray, not Cyrus, and Mark L. Smith, directed by Julius Avery. It also stars Jovan Adepo, Madeleine Olivier, I'm so sorry, John Margero, and the future Captain America himself, Wyatt Russell. Hashtag John Walker did nothing wrong. So, what is Overlord? Well, it's actually kind of complex. The film is a World War II era horror film, and if you saw any of the trailers, you might have been led to believe that this is essentially a Nazi zombie film, which I'll be honest is what I thought I was getting when I saw it. Although it's not entirely a wrong description, it's not right either. The film is about a group of American soldiers sent behind enemy lines in Nazi-occupied France the day before D-Day to destroy a communication tower so that the Allied powers can arrive mostly undetected. And if you know anything about World War II, then you'll know I just named the very real Operation Overlord. I wonder if that's how they got the name for the movie. So yeah, the film is partially based on this very real event, but it takes a number of liberties and also conspiracy theories about the experiments the Nazi Party was allegedly doing at the time. So after a very intense opening scene that I personally think rivals the opening of Saving Private Ryan, that might spark some debate, but I digress. Our band of misfits gather themselves and run into a French woman named Chloe, and once they gain her trust, she takes them back to her village, which is where the communication tower is located. They hide in her attic, and everything up to that point is pretty much like any other run-of-the-mill World War II movie. That is until it's revealed that Chloe's aunt is sick and that she was experimented on in the church, where the Nazi base is located. How convenient. Then it's revealed that the guy in charge of the base is sleeping with Chloe, but the gang stops him and ties him up. And then Boyce breaks into the church, rescues a guy named Rosenfeld, gets him mysterious green liquid, and then Ford questions the Nazi. Beats the shit out of the Nazi while asking questions between punches. After a while, the Nazi breaks free of his restraints and shoots Chase, and out of desperation, they inject him with the green liquid and he magically comes back to life. However, he is incredibly strong and also does this, which I'm not certain, but I don't think that's normal. Chase then becomes aggressive and has to be put down. Sadly, things eventually take a turn for the worst. The Nazi escapes, kidnapping Chloe's brother, and alerts the Nazi soldiers that there are Americans in the village, and then he escapes back to the church, but not before Ford shoots half his face off, which is just an insane visual. So to sum up what the gang's objective is, they must break into the church undetected, blow up the communication tower, rescue Chloe's brother, all while not dying and under a severe time constraint. How is this not the most insane plan, even in a fictionalized World War II? So Tibbet and Rosenfeld have to cause a distraction so Boyce, Ford, and Chloe can break into the church to achieve all the objectives I just listed. Now, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I will say that they discover what the Nazis are doing, in that the Nazi scientists are trying to create super soldiers, and unfortunately the side effects of this, which causes the subjects to mutate and become uncontrollable killing machines, which is good until they start attacking everyone who isn't mutated, which is kind of a problem when your plan is to use them alongside non-mutated soldiers. So now that you know what the film is about, that begs the question, why is it underrated? Well, I'm glad you asked. This film to me is how you do a fictionalized story during a real event and do it well. The film takes the real Operation Overlord as the base for why these soldiers are in France discovering all of this, and with all the conspiracy theories surrounding what the Nazis did, and use them as the base for the horror elements in the movie. This also isn't just a good horror film, but I do personally believe that it works as a good World War II film. My dad, who is a big history guy, may say otherwise, but this is my video and I can say anything I want. The opening scene is quite possibly one of the best openings in any war film. Watching boys have to jump out of a plane that is not only being shot at, but also on fire is very intense, and the fact that Boyce's fall is done in a single take is just amazing. Speaking of Boyce, Giovanna Depo, again, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, is really great as the lead, and despite this being Madeleine Olivier's, I'm really sorry if I said that wrong again, first role, she nails it. She's very good, and I hope to see her in more stuff. I think she could be a great action star given what we're shown in this. Wyatt Russell is also great as Ford, a battle-hardened corporal who is thrust into being a leader because he just so happens to be the highest rank among those who survived. The guy who plays the Nazi leader is really good as well. That's a weird thing to say, but nevertheless, he's great, especially in the latter half of the film after he gets half his face shot off. He's a truly terrifying villain. I mean, the dude's a beast. Some things beside the acting is that the effects and horror elements are all great too. From what I can tell, the majority of the horror effects are practical. Obviously, scenes like the opening are CG, although the scenes were filmed in an actual plane that was flying. The effects used on the mutated soldiers are just incredible and they feel real. Also, the neck break scene with Chase, that's not CG. Well, mostly. It's an animatronic and CG was used to make it look cleaner. While I personally don't find the film to be that scary, the film has some great uses of tension, lighting, sound design. All of that comes together to make the mutated soldiers worthy foes for our gang to fight. So yeah, there you go. That's what Overlord is about and why I think it's underrated. It is a shame to me that the film did so poorly, and when I ask people about it, most of them have no idea what I'm talking about. However, this does give me a chance to introduce people to a film that I thoroughly enjoy. Unlike many films I've talked about, I don't personally think this film has many negatives. I mean, if you want to get super technical with flaws, I think the pacing could be better, and the script could be a bit tighter, and some of the comedic elements don't always work, but all those are really just nitpicks to me. I do think this is a genuinely good movie. It should be seen by more people, hence this video. Yeah, I really like this film, and I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.